leaders today, whether they're in the corporate world or in the general environment, the range of their responsibility has increased many fold. I did talk about that. It's not an easy choice any longer. The challenge towards creating a much more gender equal world, for example, has never been more important than it is today. The challenge of creating both economic growth, but also sustainably creating environmental growth and social growth and cultural growth has never been more important than today.
It has always been the role of leaders to manage the present while preparing the future.
The challenge, it's being prepared for something that you don't know might even arise. When it does arise, then having the confidence and the ability to basically get through that challenge and be seen to be a leader in that period of time.
One element that's changed over the last decade or so is, I think there is a need for modern leaders to be aware of the individuals in their team from a three-dimensional point of view. I mean, they're doing a job, they're getting paid to do a job, but they need to have a work-life balance which is proper and harmonious. They need to be healthy. It's a marathon, not a sprint, to have a long and fortunate career. And I think that leaders today need to spend more time looking at the three-dimensionality of their employees. How are they healthy? Are they happy? Are they enjoying what they're doing? Are they feel inspired? Are they feeling stretched, but in a good way?
We need to reassure people about the future and their future in the company. We need to explain them very clearly the transition we are going through, so that they know where we are, they understand where we want to go, and they understand what will be the consequences of this evolution.
Companies that can make real progress, they're not just focused on building a diverse workforce, but they're really creating that inclusive environment where all of the employees feel they've got a sense of belonging at work.
I think it's really important to build a relationship when you're a manager of people, to build a relationship built on trust and to really have an environment of psychological safety, to really foster that environment which is inclusive and where everyone can thrive and bring their whole selves to work.
We as an organization have already a high number of female employees. So more than 50% of our workforce are actually women, with a high number of women in senior positions within the company. Again, this comes from very strong leadership, and this comes of course top down.
For me, one of the key things that's important is making sure that when we're looking at when any company is kind of looking at things like promotion and hiring, that we're doing that in a very diverse way.
The one thing that I'd pick out is to never stop learning, and that leadership is really a lifelong activity. I think it's true that there's some people who are born with some natural traits of good leadership, but really most aspects of leadership really require practice. And that for the majority of us, these skills need to be learned by training, practice and experience over time.
You need to be very honest with people, especially in difficult times.
The thing that really surprises me at the moment, and it is changing, is previously the lack of focus on things like emotional intelligence. When you're in management and leadership, it's really to do with the people, getting performance out of the people, developing people, and having that empathy towards people. If you look at what happened during COVID, the impact on employees, burnout, stress, all of these emotional levers, if you weren't a leader with emotional intelligence, it was very difficult to lead people at that time. They were looking for that confidence in leadership to help people who were struggling with a circumstance that was beyond everyone's expectations.
What's really important is also not just the training for senior leaders, but also the feedback loop. So what we do every year is we give them feedback on their inclusive behaviors through a leadership effectiveness survey, where leaders have a chance to review basically the performance through the eyes of their direct reports. And that's very valuable because that is a very honest mirror in front of you, and that gives them the ability to reset some of their behaviors and continue to improve on that overall journey.
It helps to have the individualized approach for people, to give them growth opportunities, but also to leverage on their talents, I would say.
I think leaders need to take societal responsibility very, very seriously and need to push it, and maybe be a bit controversial in this push.
You know, to be successful, you need to bring people along with you. So you have to make the time for other people. And that obviously puts a pressure on your job because you still have a role. But I think it's vitally important to make that time.
Trust the people and they will reward you.